I'm a big fan of the wide legs, the really huge legs pants, and sometimes when I make them, the ones with the pleats at the front, they look totally fine when I wear them and stand, but when I start walking, they start misbehaving. I'm not sure if anyone has faced that problem, and they just look weird at the crotch area and they make me really uncomfortable. But that is not going to limit me today, because I really want a big leg with pleats at the front and at the back as well, so that I can look as though I have a really tiny waist and the rest is kind of big. Yeah, so that is what I'm making today. I found this fabric at the thrift store. It's really nice. It's cream white. I'm not sure if you can see that, and it's absolutely perfect for this project because it's drapey. It has like minimal stretch. I'm really excited, and I'm hoping, praying, wishing everything that it does not look weird at the crotch area when I walk. So let's get to the table and see what we can come up with. But before that, if you love sewing, upcycling, crochet, knitting, thrift flips, everything that makes clothes, please consider subscribing down below, and trust me, you will not be disappointed. And let's get started. Okay, so this is everything that you're going to need. You're going to need your fabric, a zipper that is for our fly, and then we're going to need a matching thread, and then we're going to need closures for the waistband. Now these are two different types of closures. I have the female trouser closure right here, and then I have the male closure right here. You can use whichever. This is sew on by hand, and then this, you just close these pieces right here together, and it's absolutely no sew. I usually prefer the no sew one, but I'm thinking of using this one. Not sure yet. When we get there, we shall cross that bridge together. So now let's get to drafting. Okay, let's get started. I've folded this into 4 because it's a really baggy trouser. It does not need to be as precise. So my height is at 41, but I'm going to do a separate waistband, which means I need to have it at around 40, and this is with a 0.5 inch seam allowance included. So I have my waist point, and now I want to draw in the other horizontal point. So I'm going to mark my rise, which is at 10 inches, and that is with the 0.5 inch seam allowance. Now that I have the waist and the rise, it's time to feed in the horizontal measurements. And now I'll start with the rise. The rise, this is the part where I'm going to feed in my thigh measurement divided by 2. So I measured and decided how wide I want my pant leg to be at that point, and I wanted it to be at 27 inches, and that is what I'm going to be measuring here. So 27 divided by 2, that gives me 13.5, and that is what I'm going to mark. Add 0.5 inch seam allowance for this side, 0.5 inch seam allowance for this side. That gives me around 14.5. So this fabric is actually the exact same measurement that I wanted, and now that we have that measurement right there, I'm going to be taking away 4 inches, and this is where the curve is going to be at. And then at the waist, I'm going to be measuring my waist divided by 4, which is around 8 inches right there. And then I'm going to be adding 2 pleats. That will be around, this is how I want my pleats to look like. So I'm going to have a fabric fold in, and that is around 3 inches, and then I'm going to add another inch for seam allowance. So this is going to be my actual waist measurement right there. It's really big for now, but then we have the waistband that is going to hold it in. I do not want my point right here to be touched, because this is the actual measurement when you're drafting fitted trouser. You have like an additional 9 centimeters, or rather 4 inches. But I'm going to be drawing a slight curve, hoping that that will go really fine, because I'm not sure if the whole crotch thing is what brings in the problem that I was talking about earlier. But if you have an idea on how to solve that problem, please let me know, because I've suffered that problem a lot. And this is my new crotch line, and this is my trouser pattern. All is left is for me to draw in my inleg, because that is not usually a straight line. It usually looks weird when I have it a straight line, so I figured I should do a curve, and I'm going to be joining that to the hem. And now I'm just going to be cutting everything out. Okay, so I've got everything cut out. I have 4 pieces, and I have just decided that I do not want to have a seam at the side, because okay, I do not have a reason, but it's just nice that I ended up with both pieces folded at the sides. So I'm just going to be cutting out my fly piece right now, and then cutting out my waistband. I have a pattern that I made a while ago. This is the pattern that I've been using on most of my trouser videos, and I made it when I was making my patchwork denim trouser. I link it in the description box. I love it. It fits me perfectly, and I have different adjustment points. I will just be using this all together so that I get a really nice waist. And I've already figured out my pleats, but when I get done cutting everything, I will show you how those look. Okay, here are all the pieces. I have my left, my right leg, I have my waistband. For the waistband, I have 4 pieces in total. I'm going to be joining them at the center back and at the top. And then I have my crotch pieces. I know they do not look as much, but they will work. And now let's start with the prep work. I'm going to start by preparing my pleats, and I'm going to do all of that to every single piece. So I have 2 pleats, and I'm going to be doing them 5 inches from the center front. So I'm going to be marking at 5.5, which is right there. And that is where the first pleat is going to land at. And I'm just going to be folding everything, making sure that I keep in mind that this is my right side and this is my wrong side. So I made sure that this is my waist measurement, and now I'm going to repeat the same on this piece and these 2 other pieces. Okay, so here are the pleats. I just did a stay stitch so that it can be held as I sew everything else in place. So now I want to sew the back seam together, which is this seam right here, and I can start working on my fly at the front. The back crotch seam is done, and now let's work on the fly. I have my pieces right here and my zipper, so I'm just going to lay this open like that, because this is the part that I want to overlap. And with these 4 different pieces, this is going to be folded in half like so, and I'm debating which of these to use, so I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to be sewing this in place, right sides facing, and then I'm going to flip this one over like so, and then under stitch, and I will put this one aside. This is the right side of the trouser, and have stitched this piece in place and under stitched it. So when I fold everything in place, this is how it's going to look in the long run, and it's going to be a really clean finish. And now let's work on this other side, which is the left side. So what is left of the right side is just adding up the zipper at this end right here, and then top stitching. So let's work on this part that requires a lot more. Okay, so for this left part, I have this piece that is going to be at this spot right here, and this is the same spot that the zipper is going to go at, and this is the part that usually overlaps and hides the zipper from underneath. So the best thing to do for this part is just fold the left main piece and then top stitch it, sandwiching the zipper between the body piece, which is the left body piece, and the crotch undercover piece. And then you just top stitch this in place, and you will have your zipper. So the left side is done, and we have an open zipper. So now the next step is joining the left and the right leg. So the left is supposed to be overlapped by the right, and this is how I want mine to overlap. Not really much, but not again so little. So I'm going to position mine however I want, and then at that spot is where I'm going to be joining the zipper and the flap piece. The fly is done, it's just one seam left, and that is the top stitching of the fly so that everything can lay flat. So I'm going to do that, and then as I do that, I'm also going to be joining the left part of the front crotch line. Okay, so I top stitched the fly, I top stitched the rest of the crotch seam, and I went ahead and did my inlet seam. Now all is left on this trouser is the waistband, so that is what I want to do right now. I've kept these pins here so that I can see how it looks when it's closed. You can go ahead and try this on right now and see if everything is perfect. And let me just prepare my waistband. These are my waistband pieces, and as I said earlier, I have 4 pieces in total, and I'm going to be joining them at the center back and at the top. So I'm just going to be placing these pieces right sides touching, and then I'm going to stitch them right here. And once I do that on both pieces, I'm going to join them at the top, which is the smaller part. Okay, so my waistband is all done, and now I want to attach it to the trouser. I'm going to be placing everything right sides facing. So this is the right side of my waistband. This is the part that I want to be seen, and I'm going to be pinning this all around the trousers, and I'm going to stick that in place. And once I sew that, I'm going to be turning this like so, and then fold it over, and then I'm going to understitch it from the front, and that way I will have like a clean waistband. The waistband is perfectly attached, and now what is left is pressing everything so that it lays down flat, and also attaching the closure at the waistband. I'm not yet decided, but when I do, I'll just attach it and I will show you how everything looks.